Well, hey there, folks. I'm Meteorologist Matt Barrentine in our Fox 10 Gulfstream Center, and it is looking fantastic for us in the coming days, although it is a bit on the warm side. I'll talk about that in a minute. First off, though, I got some great pictures in. I've been asking folks to send in some Halloween pictures on our Fox 10 weather app, and a number of folks have done that, and it's been great to see, like this awesome picture of the skeleton crew in front of Steve and Debbie Rigby's home in Bay Minette. That's very, very cool indeed. Got all those skeletons, and they did a great job of setting all that up and lighting those. That's a little too spooky and scary for you. How about this one? Porch guests are best. This is from Cheryl, and got a couple of scarecrows there on a bike with some pretty flowers. I'm just really digging her whole porch scene there. It looks like a really comfortable place to go hang out on a nice evening. And let's go ahead and check things out here. This, of course, is Puff the Bay Dragon. He's looking pretty cool as well. So great pictures. Hey, we'd love to see more of them. You can send them in to at our Fox 10 weather app. There's a big button there that says click to submit pics and photos. It's pretty simple. Our pics and videos. Down Dauphin Island later going through the rest of the afternoon and on into the evening. Very pleasant conditions if you're going to be down there. Should have a beautiful sunset here just after 6 o'clock. Be a great day to go enjoy that sunset. Beautiful days ahead as well. Tomorrow looking at low rip current risk. Saturday low rip current risk. The days are going to be warm. So, I mean, why not? Get out there. I mean, it feels a bit like summer, so treat it a bit like summer out there today. The reason why it's so warm is because we have a ridge of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's really larger than what I've kind of got on here. It's sprawling across the entire southern reaches of the U.S. And that's given us these clear blue skies and the hot conditions. And let me see here. Let me get the, where's my almanac at? Oh, I wanted to show you this here because this is pretty impressive. So we're already at 87 in Mobile. I'm feeling that we'll probably get above 87, maybe to 88. So the forecast today is for 88 degrees. See, the normal is 77. The record is 87. We've already tied that. Already hit that mark. We've already tied it. So there's a good chance we break the record here, and we may be breaking it right now on the thermometer out there, because even though it says 87 from the National Weather Service, they go back and look at the decimal place. You know, if it's 87.6, boom, it's 88. We get a new record today. And they go back and later in the afternoon and check all that. So very well could be a new record today. We've tied one for sure. That's been up since 1941. If we break it, we're breaking a record that's, what is that, 80 years old? So, I mean, it's obviously a while ago. So, yeah, it's been pretty warm out there. The thing is, I mean, you may not even really noticed it because October, well, that's hot for October. Compared to where we were a month ago in late September, it doesn't feel that bad, right? So it just doesn't have quite the same impact as it would have a few weeks ago. So even though it's hot, we're hitting record highs that we haven't hit in 80 years. It doesn't feel too bad. Here's Foley's day planner. I don't know why the background of this is rain, because it's not going to rain tomorrow. It's purely sunny. I need to change that background. So temperatures will be in the mid-80s in the afternoon. Now, this is interesting, too. I wanted to show this. This is the past 5 Halloweens. Well, last year, if you remember, it was cool. And I remember it because of my kids complaining about it being a little chilly out there that night. I do remember that. So last year was chilly, but most years were somewhere in the 70s for highs. These are the highs on Halloween Day. Obviously, with these highs, we hit them about 3 in the afternoon. By the time kids are trick-or-treating at around 7, temperatures have come down. So that 65 was somewhere in the 50s when the kids were actually trick-or-treating. These mid-70s, which is typical, means we're probably seeing, upper to mid-60s typically at trick-or-treat time. Upper to mid-60s. That's probably very typical, which is comfortable. We usually have really nice weather on Halloween here along the Gulf Coast. Let's see what's going to happen this year. Remember, it was cool last year, and the average, and all those other years was in the 70s, which is pretty average. And then you can see this year, we're likely going to be close to the low to mid-80s. So it's going to be a lot warmer this year. So if your kid's like in a Chewbacca costume or something, they're going to be sweating. because by the time the sun sets and the kids are out trick-or-treating, it's still likely to be at least in the mid-70s. So it's going to be pretty mild. I mean, that's not obviously burning up or anything. I mean, it's dark. It's so usually just got to make sure that, you know, the costume can breathe at least a little bit for the kiddos. You know, if there's any way to leave a button undone, or you know, if it comes with, you know, I don't know, furry shoes or something, don't wear the shoes. Put on flip-flops, or so I guess you probably won't be able to get around the neighborhood on flip-flops. Maybe you can wear some Crocs or something. But anyway, something that breathes a little bit might help the kiddos out if it's going to be a bit hot. The one thing to note is that next week, we're going to be a few degrees cooler than this week. We do have a cold front coming through on Sunday. That brings us a few extra clouds Sunday and Monday. Doesn't bring us any rain, unfortunately. We're dry. But it does bring us some cooler highs, not by much. I mean, we go from 87 to 84 to 82. So it drops by like 5 degrees. So it's not a big deal. We're still well above average even at that, but at least we're getting away from the record highs there. And once again, too, we could really use some rain. You don't see any on this long-range forecast. I don't see any rain happening through the end of the month. So here we are. Here's the rainfall almanac. We've had half an inch of rain so far this month. That's going to be it. That's all we'll end up with in October. So very, very dry indeed. You can see the deficits are building now over 3.5 inches. These will continue to build. The rainfall forecast for the next 7 days in our area shows nothing. Even if I widen this out, it doesn't show very much across the southeast. Very little rain. And the drought that we're experiencing is going to deepen and worsen. Right now, most of our area is in a level 2 drought. In fact, almost all of Alabama is in a drought. There's only a small sliver in the wiregrass over there around Dothan and Troy. And then the southern half of Baldwin County is also not technically in the drought. But everywhere else in Alabama is in a drought, and most of our viewing area is in that level 2 moderate drought. And this was updated this morning. It gets updated every Thursday. And since we won't have any rain between now and next Thursday, the drought will expand and we get the next one in next week. And then we probably won't have any by that following Thursday. So, I mean, it'll just continue to expand, at least nothing significant. So, something we'll be keeping an eye on. A drought is a slow motion disaster. It takes a long time to get in one. But you can get out of one relatively quickly if you can get some decent rainfall. You might notice here, this is pretty interesting, that this area up around Atlanta, Greenville, South Carolina, and Asheville, North Carolina is not in the drought. Those areas, Asheville, Greenville, Atlanta, they have not seen a drop of rain in October. So why are they not in a drought? Helene at the end of September came through and dumped 2 feet of rain across this area. But they haven't had any rain since Helene, believe it or not. None. They're not in a drought because it got so much rain during Helene, but things really are drying out even for them. So you can kind of be in a drought even if you've had a lot of rain on the year. These areas are probably well in a surplus still, but if you don't get any rain for 4 or 5 weeks, you still start to really dry out. So you need some more consistency there. So we likely will see more areas entering the drought as well as we move through the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how it all goes. It is a slow motion issue with drought. We'll see if we can't pull ourselves out of it at some point, but I know it will deepen and worsen over the next week or two. Hey folks, I'm meteorologist Matt Barrentine. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on our Fox 10 Gulf Stream. Let me get that long range forecast up for you one more time, and I'll cut over to it so you can see it full screen. We're going to stay really pretty through the weekend, next few days, but we're going to be near record highs every single afternoon. So just be aware of that it's going to be quite hot. Next week, not quite as hot, but still well above average, and it looks pretty warm for Halloween Day. No rain to speak of all the way through, so that'll include Halloween. So I think our trick-or-treating will go just fine. It'll probably be in the upper 70s to mid-70s during the trick-or-treat hours after sunset. So it'll be a little warm for the kiddos, but all in all, not too bad. That is your next 10 days. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream.